Welcome back to the channel. I'm here to give you my spring reading wrap up. So all the books that I've read over the past few months since my last wrap up, to catch you up on where I'm at with my reading and let you know some of the great books that I've found so far this year. We're going to start off with the books that caused me to do a seasonal wrap up instead of a monthly wrap up because they were taking over my life and you were probably getting sick of hearing me talk about it. And that is the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I've definitely talked about the first couple of books in videos as I was reading them, but I've read all of these, including The Inevitable Ruin, book 7, which is not out in hardcover yet. But these books are massive and they were taking up so much of my time. I was obsessed, I was in love, I was having 5-star after 5-star, or was I actually? I gave a good amount of these 5 stars. If you don't know, Dungeon Crawler Carl is a sci-fi series set on Earth, and aliens come one day and kill most of the population, but stairways open up around the world, and if you descend into the stairway, you become a part of this dungeon crawler game where you have to go through, fight monsters, rank up, and compete on a show that is televised across the galaxy. In it, we're following Carl and his cat, Princess Donut, as they make their way through the dungeon, fight monsters, get powers. It is a funny, good action time. So first off, love the beautiful hardcovers, but the audiobook narrated by Jeff Hayes, absolutely incredible and highly recommend. Book 1, 2, and 3, I gave 5 stars. Book 4, The Gate of the Feral Gods, I think I gave 4 stars. Tragic. But then I read books 5 and 6, The Eye of the Bedlam Bride and The Butcher's Masquerade, gave them both 5 stars. And then The Inevitable Ruin, unfortunately, I gave like a 3. It totally took away everything that I loved about the series. But that's a lot of 5 stars. The series is still continuing. I think Matt Donovan is going to come back with book number 8 and fix it. I sure hope. But these 2 of the series are actually my favorite. So to have 5-star, 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 and then they still get better and better, just incredible. And this is coming from someone who had 3 5-star reads last year. So this has been like quite the experience, quite a good time. We also are following a lot of other characters, so a lot of other competitors in the show, and some of them kind of become enemies of Carl. Some people hate him. Carl and Princess Donut, because they do well, of course. That naturally makes them a target. But then we're also following crawlers who befriend them. He has a kind of a group that he hangs out with. He has different people that he interacts with and bonds with and helps out. Carl has a savior complex, so sometimes he cannot leave people behind. Princess Donut does not have that problem. Okay, I had to grab Rocky because he won't stop meowing. So books 5 and 6, though, they really built on some relationships and they made some complex storylines that are beyond the dungeon as well. And we're getting to see the wider world and what's going on there. But the real selling point was the humor. That's what made it the best ones for me. Like, we have so many heartwarming moments. We have so many funny moments, like really hilarious characters. I just love the series as a whole, but I really loved The Butcher's Masquerade and The Eye of the Bedlam Bride. So I did manage to read a couple of books amongst those, mainly for author events. One of those was El Casamano's Finlay Donovan Rolls the Dice. Book 5 just came out this year, and that's what the event was for. So I wanted to be caught up on the series. This book follows Finlay Donovan and her friend Vero. Finlay is a single mom. She is a writer, and one day she is talking about her books in a Panera Bread and like plotting out the murder that's going to happen in her books, but somebody overhears her and thinks that she is a hit woman, and they hire her to kill their husband. And Finlay and Vero get into some crazy, wacky situations as this unfolds. Book 4 takes place in Atlantic City. Her ex-husband's there, her mom's there, her children, and these two are like trying to get out of some more trouble that they've gotten into, which they always do, and it is a wacky time. These books sometimes really stress me out because it's really non-stop what's going on in the plot, and it's like silly fun, but also sometimes their lives are in danger and it's just non-stop action, and they're also trying to not get caught by people who don't know like some of the maybe gray area things that they're involved in. So it's fun but stressful, and I think I gave it like 3.5 stars. And then the other author event was for Tracy Dion while I was still in my dungeon crawler era. I managed to read the first book, Legendborn. The author event was because book 3 has come out. I'm obviously not caught up, but I wanted to know like what's going on in this series so I could hear the author talk about it. And this is actually a young adult book. It's a fantasy set at UNC Chapel Hill, the college. And we follow our main character, Bree, who's in the early college program. And while she's on campus, she sees some people use magic. And it's magic that it seems no one else can see her doing. And as you can see from the cover, she ends up wielding some magic herself. And she's really finding out like what that magic is. She gets involved with a secret society that is like revolving around Arthurian legend and the Knights of the Round Table. And it's like a really cool historical magic system. And we're also getting history of the school that she's at and its darker history with slavery. She is looking into her mother's experience at that school because her mother has died, and she starts getting hints that something about her mother's death was suspicious. So she's trying to investigate her mother's death, and to do that she needs to be involved with a secret society. And while she's in the secret society, she's also getting interested in a boy. And it's really cute. It's very fun. It doesn't feel too angsty and whiny like sometimes young adult can be. Bree is still very much her own person and very much prioritizing the things that she should be over like boys. The boys come secondary, which is nice to see. And the way that this book ended, I could have never guessed, and it was so cool, so incredible. I should absolutely be picking up the second book, but I have a lot of things to read. But this is very good. I'll definitely be continuing on with the series, and I gave this also 5 stars. Alright, so then after Dungeon Crawler Carl and those 2 books, I was ready to take a break from all that and get back to my mystery thriller roots. And I read Kill For Me, Kill For You by Steve Kavanaugh because I remember, was it last year, people were absolutely obsessed with this book and say it was a great thriller. I was very entertained by it, but I think I only gave it 3 stars. So this one follows, as the title suggests, 2 women who meet and learn about the dangerous men in each other's lives and decide that they will kill for each other. And immediately that goes awry and things get out of hand and wacky. So I was very entertained. I was absolutely turning the pages, getting excited to see what happened. By the end, I thought it kind of fell flat, but I got absolutely what I needed from reading a thriller, which was just like a fun, mindless page turner with a very intriguing plot. So I didn't love it. I wish I did, but I did get a good time from it. Next, I picked up Beartown by Frederick Bachman for another author event. I did vlog it. There's a couple vlogs related to the books in these videos, so I'll make sure to link those down below if you're interested in seeing like the entire reading experience that I had. But Beartown is the first in a trilogy that follows this town called Beartown where hockey is absolutely life. It's a rundown, poor town, very rural forest, and the junior hockey team is doing well this year and is giving like the town hope and a chance of opportunity, and really everyone is involved in watching and hoping for the best. And then something tragic happens and it really turns the town upside down. It turns people against each other, and it really puts to test the citizens of this town and right and wrong and morals. We get to follow a bunch of different characters as they go through the situation, and we have such a varying experience of who we're rooting for, who we hate. Frederick Bachman does an absolutely incredible job of showing like a depth of emotion that his characters are feeling and making me feel it as well, and it was beautiful, incredible. I loved it. I can't wait to continue the series. I'm excited to see what happens to our characters next. I loved experiencing the range of anger and heartbreak to hope this fictional place that I really feel like existed while I was reading it, and I really loved seeing really human characters and interactions. And guess what? I also gave this book 5 stars. I'm having an incredible reading year. And then I wanted to read another Frederick Bachman's I picked up, and every morning the way home gets longer and longer. This follows a grandfather and his grandson, and the grandfather is going through dementia, but it's in a very like abstract way that we're reading and experiencing it. It's very small. It's very nice and sweet. I think I gave it 4 stars. It made me shed a little bit of tears, but it was just a nice short read with a little emotional punch. And then I wanted to read one more of his books, so I picked up the novella The Answer Is No, which I'm so glad that I picked up because it's a much different experience than those 2 books. The Answer Is No is super short. We're following a guy in his apartment building, and he's very much in his apartment, working remotely, barely leaving, ordering pad thai all the time, and there's a cast iron skillet, or it's just regular skillet, that causes some drama in the building. He very much felt like me. I'm in this apartment all the time. I don't have the fun, quirky neighbors that he has though. Actually, most of my neighbors, I say hello to them and they don't respond or look at me. But he has some neighbors that keep bothering him and his HOA, and they like want him to get involved in stuff. And he's like, I'm happy because I'm alone and I'm not involved in anything and I'm not involved with people. But then of course the whole point is that he starts to get involved with people and like learn to open up and learn to be happy from interacting with others. So cute, beautiful little story. And then I wanted another thriller, so I picked up The Heiress by Rachel Hawkins. I had some driving to do, so I picked this up on audio. And again, another lackluster thriller. So I had made a vow at the beginning of the year, not a vow, but like a plan for the year, that I wanted to read a lot less thrillers, because last year I read a ton of thrillers, only had 3 5-star books for the year, and I was like, yeah, that's probably correlated. And I was correct, because this year I've read some incredible 5-star reads, but whenever I pick up a thriller, I get disappointed again. So I've very much limited my thrillers, and I'm trying to intentionally pick up thrillers that I really think are going to be good. Unfortunately, another 3-star read, but again, it was a fun time. So this one is set in like the North Carolina mountains, following this wealthy family and a woman whose husband is a part of that wealthy family, and they're going back there for the first time in a very long time. And we're learning about his mother, who has recently passed. There's like an inheritance, a trust, and some family members who are not happy with the way that things have been designated. So it's like a family drama, but you know, with rich people and them keeping up their facade and how they interact with each other. Again, it was a good time. Twists, turns, fun. We're running around. Some people want to hurt each other. And we're also getting the history of his mother, who had like, I don't know, a lot of husbands. So it feels like 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo thriller a little bit. Not really with the depth and the emotion of Evelyn Hugo, but still a fun time. So this was another 3-star. And then I did a reading vlog where I picked up a bunch of short books to try to catch up on my Goodreads goals. And in it, I picked up KJ Parker's The Last Witness, a little novella following a man who can pluck memories out of your mind for a price. So that could be because you're like traumatized by something and you want to get rid of it, or you could pay him to take somebody else's memory of maybe something bad that you yourself did. And KJ Parker writes books that feel like reading an art piece. That's just the best way I can describe it. Like, there's something so interesting and intricate and beautiful in the way that he tells a story. I love it. I've only read his novella so far, but I'm going to be reading a long book from him soon. But this one was so fun, and I kept feeling like I knew generally where it was going, and then everything would change. And then by the end, we had like such interesting stuff happen with the memory things. I can't tell you about it, but it's really good. Highly recommend this or KJ Parker in general. I did pick up a book from the library called Murder by Memory. It's book 1 in the Dorothy Gentleman series, so it's going to be a series of novellas where we're following Dorothy Gentleman, who is on a spacecraft of some sort moving through the galaxy on a very long journey to another planet. While they're on the spacecraft, the people inhabiting it can live their lives many times, or basically once they grow old they can get a new body. So it's the same group of people, they're just like restarting whenever they get old basically. And she is a detective on board. If you're not currently in a body, you can be stored like in this library, and someone destroys her like library, her consciousness, I don't know. There's an emergency backup system that nobody knew about. It throws her into the nearest body on board. So she suddenly wakes up in a body that's not hers and then needs to investigate who tried to erase her. And there's also a dead body elsewhere on board. So she's trying to figure all that out while she's in someone else's body, so people also think that she's a different person. It was okay. I didn't love it. I loved the concept and I loved some of the things that were happening in the story, but overall I thought it was kind of boring, and I really didn't think that the whodunit mystery was that satisfying by the end, so I'm probably not going to continue that series. Then I picked up T. Kingfisher because I've enjoyed her many times in the past, and I picked up Thorn Hedge. This follows Toadling. And Toadling is a woman who has been in this spot for many years where she's behind like a thorn hedge, like a big wall of thorny plants, I don't know. And she's protecting something. But Toadling can turn into a toad, hence the name. And she's just this really sweet character. She's doing her duty and hoping that any passerbyers see the thorn hedge and just keep going. But one day a knight or some guy, he comes to investigate this thorn hedge, and she tries to deter him and make him go away, but eventually she starts opening up with him a bit as he interacts with her. And she's been alone and in isolation for many years, so we're seeing her open up and interact with a person, which is so cute to see, and her start to tell her story of why she's there. So we're also getting flashbacks to her childhood and her past and learning where she came from. It's very atmospheric. It's a fairy tale. I really liked it, and it really makes me want to pick up more T. Kingfisher soon. And then I thought I would pick up something a little scary. So I picked up The Night Guest. I'm not going to butcher her name, but this was originally written in Icelandic and translated to English, and it's a little horror novella. So we're following a woman who is waking up exhausted and sometimes bruised. Every morning, every day, she's just exhausted. She goes to the doctor. They can't figure out what's wrong with her, but she ends up getting an Apple Watch and seeing that she's taking thousands of steps in the night. And we are following her on the journey of figuring out what's happening and why her Apple Watch says she's taking so many steps in the night and what she's up to. And it's spooky, it's creepy, it's confusing and dark, but I thought it was really good. The ending is so bizarre and hated, but if you don't mind a very strange story with a very strange ending because you just like to have a spooky little time, try this one out. I thought it was pretty good. And then here I was trying to fulfill my thriller craving once again, and I picked up Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister. This one was a little more successful. I've enjoyed this author multiple times in the past. This one follows a woman who wakes up one morning. It's the last day of her maternity leave and she's dropping off her new baby at daycare, but her husband is not there like he should be, and he left a weird cryptic note. Next thing she knows, she is back at work for her first day, and the police arrive to tell her that her husband has taken multiple hostages at gunpoint in a warehouse, and she has no idea why. So she's figuring that out, and the story gets much bigger from there, but it's like reveals and twists and turns to get to the more, and it was interesting. The beginning was like very suspenseful, and then the rest of it was more so her just figuring it out. So it didn't feel like a classic thriller story, but there's definitely thrilling elements. There's definitely a big central mystery that we're trying to figure out what's going on, and there's multiple reveals along the way. Some of it surprised me, some of it I thought was kind of obvious, and it's not my favorite type of thriller, but again, I had a good time. I think I gave it 4 stars. And I will definitely continue to read Gillian McAllister, but I much preferred her thriller, Wrong Place, Wrong Time. That's my favorite by her. And then if we're talking spring wrap up, I have technically read another book or two in the spring, but I'm gonna save those because they are part of a reading vlog that hasn't come out yet. So stay tuned. I will then just put those in my next wrap up. So after this, I plan on going back to monthly wrap ups if I have enough to talk about in it. So I'll save those for my July wrap up, which I'm really excited to share those vlogs and talk about the books that I read. So let me know, what books did you read in the spring that you absolutely loved or hated? And also, what books are you planning to read in the summer? I did post a summer TBR a week or two ago, and I'll definitely be working my way through that and sharing the experience, telling you how I like the books. And I can't wait to just keep reading, keep picking up some amazing books because, again, my year so far, incredible. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon in another video. Bye.